Hey Koshik, you sent me something this morning. Well, you said 0 Tuesday, 1 Monday, and 2 Friday. Is that did this count? Oh, I see now. I just popped it open. I tried a crappy short. I wish I put in some resting orders at the 5-minute fair value gap, but I did not. And I am sitting in an L right now. I took MES. I took MES because it was actually really stupid. I took it pre-market at about, I don't know, let's say somewhere around like 9, 10, 905, 910, around there. I saw that massive wick up. That should have wicked me in had I actually put in a limit order at 7150, like I was thinking. 7150.5 based on ES. But I didn't get that entry chased because I thought we were going to go down. So my entry was like 140 for the first half of the trade. And then the second half of the trade, I got it back up at about 149. So on average, I'm at 71.44. But I think currently I'm set up for about a $400 loss. And that's my risk, with downside target being Alma centroid area, or her downside pivot and gap fill, basically around there. But I was extremely annoyed because, and that reaction that I had was likely a bit of FOMO, because I was watching it at around 8:20, 8:30, in between that time frame, and I was like, hey, I'm really thinking about shorting here. And suddenly we got a wick up at 8:29 based on some news. I think it was Iran shooting at ships, and it wicked up and swept the high of the day on ES, but didn't do it on NQ. And by the time the 1 minute had closed, the risk was already like 8 points, which would have been fine had I shifted to MES. But I also wasn't sure if that was going to be like the big move. I'm in at 6 micros. Average entry 71.44. Terrible entry in my opinion. I was just lucky that I got to average up to 74.4, 71.44. The entry should have been 71.50.5 for me. That was where I was thinking about entering. And it was also where the edge of the node happens to be on the 5-minute session-based chart. 71.30 could be a nice target. Man, I am going for a home run here. And the reason why is because I'm expecting there to be a much larger range, or I guess momentum, just based on the gamma chart. Oh shoot, I didn't show you the gamma chart. One sec. Yeah, just based on the gamma chart and positioning, it's extremely light between 71.50 and like 70.60. So there's like not much in between here, and gamma is essentially, you're looking at near zero gamma. It's extremely light. You can't even tell it's positive. even though it is positive. But like I've always said that I hated entering the market. And yeah, I think this one got me good. There was a bit of FOMO from the 820, 830 play that I missed. The 1 hour looks pretty decent. I would have liked it if NQ swept the previous day highs, but it did not. The 1 hour is a massive top wick for the 8 o'clock, the 8 o'clock candle. I mean, there's still a chance that I get wicked out here, which will blow, but I might give it a bit of room, for better or worse. Risk is about 400 bucks ish. I think it was like 450 or something like that when I did the calc. And oftentimes I like a move between 930 to about 950, and then the market kind of changes its tune after 950 or 10 o'clock. It's kind of odd because it kind of lines up with what ICT has as his what does he call those macro? It's basically where he thinks all the action happens or all the volume comes in. I forget what he calls it. It's been a while since I've seen one of his videos. What's your average risk per trade? Yeah, macro time. Yeah, thank you. I guess I was close. What's your average risk per trade in USD? I think it ranges between, I would prefer like a 250 on ES, $250 on ES, which is really 5 points, but it does get up as much as 500, so about 10 points on ES. And with this, it kind of flipped over to MES because I know my entry was really crap, and it would give me an opportunity to average in a little bit better. But we can still climb up all the way up to, based on the gamma chart anyways, I can see a run up to 7150 and a rejection there and head back down to like 7100 just based on gamma alone and positioning. And if we do that, then my stop loss will hit. Yeah, I totally should use MES all the time. I know it kind of sucks because I know when I use MES, it's higher fees at the end of the day, and if I have a lot of break-even trades, my account will just kind of deplete because of the amount of fees associated with those trades on MES. I'm taking multiple MES. That is equivalent to 1 ES. But yeah, I shouldn't really care about that for evals. and live account, or not live accounts, like funded accounts. Also, when volatility kicks up, oh, one sec, I forgot to check the straddle was at 31, just over 31 when I checked. And right now it's sitting at around 29. So I'd carry about 30 for the straddle. Which I didn't actually move yet. 1 second. So the straddle will probably take us to centroid. Yeah, okay. Oh. $71.43. All right, so straddle should be adjusted now. Yeah, straddle low to centroid. At that point, I would expect us to fill the gap, pretty much. Positioning starting to come in now. Ooh, 71.50 disappeared. So this is, I think, if you look at the 71.50 to 71.60 positioning, they're betting on a breakout. The customer is long calls here, and they're betting on a breakout. There's a VS vol signals video that went through this yesterday. I'll send you the link shortly. He'll explain it a lot better than me, but he'll explain it a bit more technical too. But if you view in the lens that dealers always try to stay delta neutral, when this came on, believe dealers had to hedge accordingly. So I think they had to buy up, since they are short delta here, they had to buy up delta to stay delta neutral. And then if price action doesn't actually come up here and breaks up above that, this thing will start decaying and the delta drops towards zero from a customer perspective. So if the customer originally had positive delta and now they're going oh, nice. That's pretty good. Yeah, that is very manageable, actually. Not bad at all. I think my trade's gonna get toasted. But yeah, anyways, so if this trade doesn't become in the money, what happens is you end up, the dealer ends up having to sell the delta that it once bought, which is why this here almost acts like a rejection point unless you get a vol based move that helps pump it up, like a Trump tweet or something, that just an influx of volume that will cause some volatility to just pump this thing up. All right, so on the 5 minute, there's a volume imbalance at 71.53 that I was watching, and it looks like we just hit it. Ideally, we would turn, but I don't think we're going to turn here. We'll see. My stops right now are at about 71.57.5. I get the feeling that it's going to wick me. So I'll be watching it closely. That volume imbalance would have been another decent entry. Yeah, now I don't know if MES is showing the volume imbalance, but ES is showing the volume imbalance. Yeah, actually, I'm looking at it now, and I don't think MES is showing the volume imbalance. Where's this trend line? Are you referring to the overnight low? I sent you the YouTube video from Vol Signals covering yesterday. On 1 minute, 9 a.m. lows. Oh, I see what you're referencing. Yeah, there's a decent smaller time frame trend line there. Would agree. I really like the 1 hour, the way it looks. And then Alma's upside pivot happens to be there too. Near the top. It would have been at the overnight high of day. But yeah, the entry is pretty much everything to me. I find that it messes with my psyche if I don't get a good entry. Like, but because this I've already accepted this risk as what it is. I'm okay holding this. And I'm trying to get better from a psychological perspective. And I find that where I enter a trade gives me that emotional capital, or gives me that opportunity to not expense too much emotional capital. Like if my emotions is like a gas tank, entering where I initially entered would have depleted that gas tank as I watched this thing just sit negative the entire time. But yeah, that volume imbalance would have been the perfect entry. Yeah, I can see it on the 15-minute. Like I almost would draw one at like, it just looks like a flag of some sort, right? It's not a perfect flag if connecting the lows, but 71.37 is basically that support. Yeah, a lot of orders are starting to fill in this area. OptionsDepth is showing negative gamma. $71.15 is the largest local dealer short. It's going to take a little bit of effort to blast up. Yeah, but this thing's just toying with me. Yeah, say I entered at 71.53, which is that volume imbalance. I probably would have already been at break even. And there was only about 4 to 5 points of risk. It's nothing in this area. There's a lot of divergences happening right now between ES and NQ. Upside and downside. Like top side and bottom side. Yeah, so when I was paying attention to ES, I thought, like, pre-market that is, at around 8 to 8:30, I thought we might run up towards 71.62, seeing that it's the high volume node of that I guess it would be from Friday to the price action yesterday. It would be a high volume node there at 71.62. And instead we rejected off the low volume node at 71.56, which normally I would pay more attention to, but I figured there was like a lot of fair value gaps on the 15 minutes up there, and also a volume imbalance that kind of needs to be revisited, which is why I thought we would run up there. But anyways, it didn't end up happening. Well, it might happen now during regular trading hours. Fixed expiration. Oh, crap. YM is still running up. Very choppy morning here, or first half hour anyways. Yeah, I get the feeling that we're gonna run up, maybe hit that 71.6263 area. If we head down, then it would wick off of there. Well, 15 points, yeah, and that would be where the zero gamma line is currently. Yeah, ES is holding pretty well here. What are your thoughts on the day, Koshik? And where would you enter any positions, if anything? And 71.25 is a level to cross and hold for decay to kick in and create a supported path to 71.30.35. Yep, I got hit out. Is there any news today? Nope, no news. Okay, that's a 15-minute volume imbalance, but I want to see a run towards about 5 points higher here. But I think this is going to hold. Let's see. Looking for longs from 7130 ES. And shorts from 7183 ES. 7183. 7183. Hang on, I should probably look at your chart, right? 7183. Oh, I don't see 7183 there. Oh, sorry, this is SPX, isn't it? Yeah. 7183. Good. I see. So you're looking for the sweep. Yeah, I think you were looking at 84 yesterday, right? 8450, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that would be a perfect premium level. Positioning is changing quickly here. And you're looking for IFVG on a 1 minute, right? NQ is just teasing the sweep here. Still holding that upside pivot. I'm going to regret not giving this a little bit of room. That's a good short entry. I think I'm in it with you. Yeah, I really like that short. Whoa, whoa, whoa. At the money didn't work properly. At the money bracket orders didn't work. Yeah, that's a good short entry. I really liked it, especially after seeing that 5-minute close for me. I assume you went in after IFVG. Okay, so I can't apply my bracket orders here, so I'm kind of flying a little blind here. Is this trying to figure out? Oh, trying to figure out what's wrong with my bracket orders. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, okay. I see it now. Oh, that was just complete fuckery. It messed me up trying to adjust my positions here because none of my bracket orders worked. So NQ swept. Having a tough time getting under 71.15 now. Upside pivot. We're still hanging out at that upside pivot. I like the NQ sweeping there, and then hopefully this divergence holds, this SMT holds. YM. I hate YM. It looks like it wants to push higher. NQ could pull back here, but let's see. I mean, this is all-time highs again on NQ after that sweep. Yeah, that's right. Yep, that took me out again. This is unreal. Honestly, I thought that was a play, and it might still be the play. It's really... And I have a feeling when it goes, it's just going to be one tweet red down. Just like one massive elevator down. But my bias down might destroy me today. So I gotta watch out. That's 2 L's in a row for me. Oh, I see. You were looking at premium there. Wait, premium 1, it means Monday. Is that right? Monday. Oh, yeah. And this is so painful. Yeah, the POC of today hit too on that play. So like he gave like 7 points from my entry, or 8 points. I just didn't take it, unfortunately. So I thought, well, I'm pretty biased down today, for better or worse. I just thought at some point today we are going to fill that gap. SPX actually has a decent trend line. And it should, if price action wants to take us there, it's going to go to 71.30 on SPX. Yeah, I think you should see a very similar trend line on SPY too. Now I was thinking that would line up with this high volume node. So we're finally hitting this high volume node area. Yeah, overall, I still think that short was okay. I think where you entered is probably much better because you got the IFVG right to POC. So the IFVG would be, I think, around a 53 entry, right? Am I right there? After the candle close, anyways. I waited for the 5-minute candle to close. And I would consider that a 1-to-1 ratio for me. Yeah, it was a 1 hour play for me. Based on hindsight anyways. Because it only ended up going about 7 points from my entry. But it wasn't a bad spot to take a shot by any means. Though I was extremely worried about NQ sweeping. And then NQ swept, but then it just pumped. You see, I entered after the red range bar. Red range bar. Is the pink one the current bar? Yeah, this market's spinning in my face. It's basically telling me that I had the wrong bias today. Yesterday we did the gap fill, then pump. Today we didn't even touch the gap. So I really wanted to play towards the gap. I guess the other way to read this is on an EWT perspective. So Elliott wave, just to kind of help make sense of like corrections and stuff like that. We get an ABC pattern from Friday's top to Monday's bottom to Tuesday's top and then Tuesday's bottom. So that was all corrective, and then we continue the grind up. Okay, I see. So this is the SPX trend line. Where was zero gamma? What level was it? Was it 7123? $71.47. Yes. 71.47. Oh, I see. I see. Like, you mean like it's roughly where POC was? Bounced right off of it. Yeah, okay. I gotcha. Yeah, you might have to pray for me. I'm thinking about... Yeah, I'm just gonna give a shot here on another short. And I can totally go limit limit down. The last trade I took on ES and I accidentally used my MES strategy, which was all wonky when I entered because I don't think I can take that many ES contracts on this eval. And I was having which explains why I was having issues with the strategy or the bracket orders that I normally have on NinjaTrader. So I was trying to close out some of the positions because I was in 3 ES. So it kind of messed me up. That was my own fault because I didn't adjust my bracket orders from the 3 quantity, which I had set up for MES. And when I switched over to ES, it should have been a single trade. Yeah, I'm watching NQ push higher. But I forgot to do a few things today. Wow, that's quite the pump by NQ. YM is not following yet. Not yet, but it might. $71.83. Yeah, I think it's going to do that too. It seems very likely at this point that the Monday high to Tuesday's low was like an ABC correction. Just like if from an EWT perspective, it's called a I guess it's an ABC flat correction. And then continuation up. I personally wanted to see a run towards 6,900, maybe 6,950, somewhere in the 6,900s. And for the correction before we continue and make new all-time highs. But doesn't seem like that's going to be the case, especially with NQ rocketing. Yeah, 27K. That's like the perfect rejection zone. It loves whole numbers. But this is the SPX trend line too. It's the correction trend line. Yeah, charm is definitely blue. I would say it's pretty light here. It's only about 6, so we're talking about every 5 minutes. You're buying up 12 ES contracts. Yeah, that down move seemed pretty random, eh? It couldn't have been the EIA reports, could it? No. No way. That was a little bit ago. I think it was just that SPX trendline rejection. I'm not seeing any news yet. And then, as you said, NQ 27,000 rejection for the most part. But seems like the upside pivot's pretty much holding right now. Which could mean we're grinding way up to where's her upside target? 7165. That's interesting. 7165. The target 7165 is reversion-ish. When reversion occurs, the pivot will act backwards in order to confirm a move back to the centroid. The centroid is way low. Yeah, break and retest of 15-minute highs. Also value area high. Everything is there. Upside pivot is there too. Alma's upside pivot. So nothing confirmed yet, really. Bit of SMT on the 5-minute or on the 1-minute between ES and NQ. I did. I took the short, but I only took a MES and only 3. So my positioning is very light. My entry was like shortly after the 5-minute doji. So 71.62, but it's not like I don't have high hopes for it at all. That's why I was saying pray for me. But yeah, everything is still supportive here. Or reject that 71.10 if vol goes down locally and being magnetized to 71.40, 71.20. Yeah, it's It's a positive drift up from the looks of it. Funny because I was expecting momentum. I didn't like I was expecting momentum and I was in the downside direction. But what played out so far is a grind up. Yeah, I still am. Doesn't look good though. Especially with YM now pumping up. It's really trying to push. And NQ still pushing. You got 27,000 now on NQ. See how the daily looks like. Yeah, the daily pretty light in gamma, light positive gamma. So nothing really there. I know the positioning has changed substantially. So where I thought 7150 would be the resistance, now I'm thinking 7160. Still got 2 more minutes until this 15-minute candle closes. The node up here is starting to build up a little. Starting to get a bit of a vol response here. I think this is the new value area high here. Changed here. A lot of premium selling is starting to come up. 71.50. Net prior update is X, so that's been going up. Still nothing going on here. This is consolidation for breakout, I guess. YM is trying to push up here. possible as soon as Friday. It's it's interesting to see Bitcoin up at 78, almost 79K here. No money calls. Brutal price action today, especially based on my bias. Still holding on to this trade. Still nothing happening. Yeah, VIX is definitely starting to show its hand here. Getting that trend line rejection down. This is stupid. I still want to see this gap fill. Maybe I gotta reassess that. All right. So we basically held the 0 gamma line. Which happens to be where the SPX trend line is. The correctional trend line, I guess. It's the top of bear flag, if you really think about it. Sorry, the top of bull flag. $71.15 should support. Losing interest implies you should back down to range. If we hold here, it increases the likelihood of shifting up the range to 71.25 to 71.50 with a 30-35 balance point centered towards the lower end of the range. This is my most likely outcome for the day at this point. Losing it implies you shift back down to the range below with its own balanced target and boundaries. And so far, we did not treat the test level like support from above. $30.35 is balance. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, $30.35 is balance. So 7,100 would be balance. 70.90, 70.80. Yeah, I'm still in. Yeah, this is pretty gross. Everything about this is nasty. Like it's waiting for something. Yeah, it's still the SPX trend line resistance, which is the top of the bull flag, if you think about it that way. And we were trying to avoid entry into the positive gamma position. So we were hovering around 0 gamma for a bit. $71.20 is probably the most balanced, because VS likes to consider balance the blue areas, and he liked 30-35 being the balance for the upward range. But if we break down, the range would, there's very few blue positioning. 71.20, 7100. 71.17 SPX. Shorts are in the path of resistance. 0 gamma, 71.52 ES. Oh yeah, we're in for a bounce. And this negative gamma positioning would suggest it too. It's locally, it's the largest position there. that low volume node area, 71.53, 71.54 is really holding us up. Like it doesn't want to fill in volume there. And we're starting to build up the node here. 71.55 on ES. 71.62 is also growing, especially if we spend more time there. Back to 71.25. Yeah, Alma's pivot is still holding, upside pivot. So in theory, we're trying to break this 8 to 10 point range here. I like that we're still trying to stay within the negative gamma intraday, based on how OptionsDepth measures it anyways. This should start getting interesting here. 71.18. Thing's gonna put me to sleep. Still holding this support. Amazing. It's retesting again though. YM has not been doing much. It's been grinding out the same level too. NQ's grinding just 50 point range between 27,000 and 26,950. Third trade short. So I think I'm a little too married into my trade or my bias. It's normally a red flag. $47. I'm seeing bookmap with orders, more orders to the downside than upside. All the way down to about 48. And NQ has notable orders at 912. This morning, I think NQ had a lot of orders to the upside, like tons. Yeah, it definitely had more notable orders to the upside. All right, so VIX is trying to move up here. We're on 5.2, so we're hovering right at 0 gamma. This is like perfect barcoding. 5 minute, every other candle, green or red. Yeah, green, red, green, red, green, red. Zero gamma bounce. And it looks like I'm gonna be done for. Yeah, there's just nothing to say right now besides this thing looks like it still wants to climb up. So your initial prediction of taking out the weekly highs and possibly Friday's highs seems like that's where we want to go. This looks like it's consolidation for a potential breakout. It just looks like a flag, a bull flag, which is about a break here. I placed my stops at break even now, so whatever we do, we do. I agree. I can feel the trade wear me out. Mind you, it's like not a big trade, but um, just watching it here, so painful. And there's nothing that's really changing from a positioning perspective. Even price action wise, we're just consolidating here. Yeah, there's really not much going on. If we're going to respect the daily gamma trough, which we kind of did yesterday very well. We might tap like 71.15 at most, or just a time base move over the next 15 minutes or so and just kind of grind up from here. Yeah, yesterday was pretty on the daily. Really liked what I saw. Oh, you got that rejection of the 0 gamma line down to gamma trough up to gamma peak. Oh shit, you gotta pray for me, man. I think if the both of us pray, it may play out to the VWAP at best. Yeah, yesterday, it was kind of hanging around that gamma trough area. This ball just kept on rolling back and forth. And I thought it would settle around 70.90. Claude also was thinking the same. Or maybe even 7100. But what it did was, I think it was some news that Vance will not be attending or will not be making a trip to Pakistan. And we just tanked down about 50 points with ease, closed there, and then Trump tacoed it right after close. And we went up another 50 points, I believe. Which was amazing to see. And I was watching VIX too, and I noticed VIX tanked even though SPX also tanked in the final like little bit. So in the last 15 minutes, you got VIX tanking from 20.8 down to 19.5. So I don't know if the VIX knew that there was going to be a taco of some sort, but right after market close, so you get the 70.65 close on SPX, and then Trump comes out and says he's extending a ceasefire, and we rock it right back up to like the 7100 level, I think. 7100, and ended up settling around 70.90 after hours. But it was just very interesting to see the VIX do that. It popped up on the Vance news and immediately came back down before close. And SPX did the exact same thing, but SPX did the same thing after close. Yeah, I don't think any prayers are going to work here. And Q looks like it's ready to move. Check Discord. Okay. $71.55. $71.55, yeah. I like that you said alerts. $71.55 would be that OB, right? It's order block that turned into support. Guess we're headed to 71.35, so another 10 points up from here. With a chance to run towards 71.50 based on positioning, that is. 71.50. It's another 25 points from here. 25 points to take us right to Friday's highs. I think it's gonna finally put me out of my misery. There you go. This is super uneventful. But I'm out at break even. Well, it was like one tick better than break even, but break even. Now, what would be funny if we went down? If we went down, I might break a monitor. But this thing does look like it's gonna go up, so. I'm gonna see. These are all long calls. Customer long calls, customer long calls, and puts. Okay. Puts. So if these expire, we're gonna go up. This expired, we're gonna go down. So we're gonna settle somewhere in between here. Puts. These positions are long puts. ODT. These long calls. Oh, this is gonna be painful. I think we have another viewer today. What's the viewer? Oh, that's what you meant. I thought you were looking at the market and saying... I don't know. It's pretty boring. Let me check. I'm gonna check to see if... No, it's just us. I think. All right. right, it looks like we're finally gonna break out. Very exciting stuff today. Completely read the market wrong. That was my fault. I hope I didn't let my bias skew your bias, because I know you entered short at one time. Great entry, I must say. Yeah, I think it counts me as a viewer too, mainly because, like, I guess that's the only way I can view chat. But it's interesting that you're telling me that typically you only see one. Even nothing has changed. Nothing's changed at all. 11:30. Positioning hasn't changed. Trend line to the upside. Yeah, I still see that trend line holding right now. And the downside, yeah. This is brutal though. I was expecting momentum, but I guess my thesis probably should have been adjusted after seeing the position start to fill in today. Because this wasn't here to start. You had that large position at 71.50 and then maybe some positioning around 70.60. I agree. I agree. That's something that Vol Signals has said repeatedly, and based on his tweets, he's been saying, and I think his morning meetings has been saying the same thing, is that you're starting to get some positioning to the downside towards 6,900 area. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so it was yesterday, 23 hours ago, so probably around 12, around noon. He mentioned that there's SPX May 6,900 puts coming in at 4250 sizing, and also 6,985 puts coming in May 1st. So betting on downside there. Customer pays 36.5 million to buy both. And then 6,800 puts on May 20th. Puts. Price of 49.7. So positioning is starting to be supportive at that level. Yeah, I think it's only just starting, and it's pretty light sizing for the most part. Let me see if we can find these positions here. So what do you say? 6,900 May. It's 6,900. If it's May, it would probably be, oh, it's going to be mixed in here for the monthly. I see 2,700. No, that's not right. And then 6,985. Let's see. 6,985 is an odd one. So I feel like we should be able to find this on 6,985 May 1st. This might be it. No. It's showing, unless this position was, let me see the daily on this. $69.85. So let's see, Tuesday, $69.85 on Tuesday. It was there on Tuesday, okay. Monday, $69.85. It's been there. So I'm definitely not seeing it. $69.85. Okay. Oh, I guess there has been a change from Friday to Monday. There has been a change in this positioning here. And then what was the other thing he said? 6,800, but it's May 20th. 6,800 May regular. Okay, it's going to be hard to see. Because he doesn't specify the position sizing there. He's just saying the put skew is starting to increase. And it's hard to go down with all this downside protection. Oh, you want to check out heat map? Okay. VIX is still increasing. This is nuts. Yeah, these red positions here put protection into next, but it's pretty light stuff. Like, I disregard those. Let me adjust 6,800, 7,200. Hopefully the numbers pop up. All right, the numbers kind of pop up. So this is market maker positioning. So customers are collecting premium here. Based on the sizing of this, I would have to think that it's based on some sort of hedging of a massive portfolio. And we're hanging out at 71.17. We're back at 71.17. This is unreal. The 50, 70, 40 into, I think that's Friday. A long put. This would be considered a put spread, a long put spread. I think I'm okay with the spot gamma stuff. Unless there's some things that you want me to look at specifically. How'd you manage to get it? That's pretty awesome. Yeah. I wouldn't have taken it off at VWAP anyways. But now that it hit VWAP, it seems to power up a little. So maybe that was the liquidity it needed. And there's nothing happening here. I think as soon as we log off for the day, it'll move. Looking at gamma, I would have expected like a free moving day. There will be momentum and possibly in either direction, but it was far from that. We didn't even get close to any momentum. Maybe NQ, but ES just did not give any momentum. And that's what I normally look at. I would also reference Alma. And let's see. I think she said it's... Oh, here. She talks about it being a momentum day too. Today looks good. Today looks like a good day for momentum trades, even with options. If moves confirm. Primarily reversion trades towards the centroid. That's the main bet of the market. So her key rejection zones, maybe if we ran up, hit her targets, or ran down and hit her targets, we would have expected some sort of reversion, but we didn't get any of that. Yeah, gamma is very low. Impact is low. Market expects momentum. Ranges are expanded. So she based it off of gamma too. Yeah, most of her downside targets expects a reversion. And this one, sometimes she says her pivots expect reversions, but today she was saying her target. So 71.65 was her upside target, and she was expecting a reversion off of that, potentially to 71.10. And if we do hold 71.10, then it could be magnetic between 71.20 to 71.40. So we'll be stuck in a range. If we move below 71.10, it would hit her centroid, and her centroid is at 70.79. And then I would also watch for the straddle. So I look at gamma and positioning to see if it's fairly open for movement. And this morning it was. And the straddle, if it's tight, like I don't normally bet on a straddle break. The straddle breaks I feel like it doesn't happen often. Maybe like 20% of the time. On super trend days. And when the straddle is mispriced, I guess. And vol signals like to refer to that a lot, the mispricing of straddles. Today's straddle was 32, 31, depending on the time that you checked. I think carrying 30 would have been okay. And open was around 71.12. So 30 points up, you got 71.42. 32 points down, you have 70.82. So I would have expected the straddle to at least hit in either direction, typically. So that would give me somewhat of the limits of my trades for the day. But it's pretty obvious that basing the momentum off, basing today's potential movement off of gamma didn't work today, because the intraday positions started coming in and they started stacking a little at around 71.15, 71.05. So around there. And when they started stacking, I guess it changed the profile quite a bit. And that's when we entered that negative gamma. If you look at the daily, we're still in positive gamma because there were no positions there, and generally only influenced by 71.50, which was a huge position at the time. And then some influence was down here, I believe. But yeah, not much. There wasn't much here, which is why I thought we would get some sort of movement. Free to move. And even Alma thought the same, so I don't think I'm offside there. And if you're wondering what the straddle is right now, give me 1 second here. The straddle's at 20. Anyways, Koshik, I think I'm staring at the charts here, and I'm just not seeing anything. I think I'm going to call it. And as soon as I call it, the markets will run, so it might be worth paying attention to. I'll see you tomorrow.